Honestly, guys, it is 12:14 a.m. right now, and I am telling myself I've got to come up with a song to explain so that I can send it to an editor so that it can be ready to go for next week. But I have looked through lists of songs and I cannot think of one to explain. Please help me out, comment down below, and upvote people you agree with. Ones that are upvoted will be more likely to be explained. But I thought maybe I would just turn the camera on and talk a little bit. And to be completely honest, I did not know what I was going to talk about until just now, but there is something that I am hugely passionate about. I think that the music industry needs to change. I don't think it's completely the music industry's fault. I think it's the average listener's fault for creating a market for what the music industry gives us. But what the music industry gives us is a huge load of crap. There is just no reason for some of the songs that we hear on the radio, and listening to them is an insult to our intelligences. Even if you want to go with the argument of the defense that, hey, it just sounds fun and I don't listen to the lyrics, it doesn't mean anything. In that case, I imagine these record labels sitting in their studios and being like, hey, you know what, we put a lot of work into the music side of things, it's really catchy and it's interesting, this is gonna get plays, what lyrics should we put to this? They put no effort into it whatsoever. They come up with the most generic, awful, mind-numbing stuff. And to be fair, they don't have to. They're gonna make their money whether they have good lyrics or not. And that's because the fools that we are, we listen to their songs on the radio and we enjoy them, we buy them on iTunes, we watch the music videos, whatever. We buy into the celebrity gossip. That's the worst thing. Views and album purchases pushed by celebrity gossip and feuds, I have no patience for that. I think all of that stuff is boring and unrealistic and fake, and we don't have a clue what's going on inside of these people's heads, just what they show us and just what tabloids and the news media and every blogger trying to get a couple of quick links wants to show us, you know. It's stupid. But what's really stupid is what these music moguls are giving us. It's the pop music industry has been, you know, a huge thing for a long time. I would say it probably really got going in the 1960s. There was like this street in New York where people would just sit around and come up with melodies on pianos. It was like, I don't remember what it's called, like Tin Pan Alley or something, but you could hear the pianos playing constantly. And it was just like this factory of songs. And things have just gotten worse and bigger and bigger and bigger. And there are so many people and so much money tied up around the artists that we listen to. Camila Cabello, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber. They have huge teams that lead into this. And their number one goal, their only goal, they do not care about you. Their number one goal is just to make money from you and to get your time. Now, I'll walk that back a little bit. There are some artists who I think genuinely care about social causes, and there are people that I respect hugely as far as their music. I think that Taylor Swift has a huge hand in the lyrics that goes into her music, and I think the fact that she invests so much time in telling personal stories, even if they do feed into tabloid gossip and all of this stuff, I think that shows a lot of intentionality on her part. The Weeknd is willing to get vulnerable, really vulnerable, in a serious, interesting way about 20% of the time, and the other 80%, meh. Ed Sheeran, I feel like, sometimes tells some interesting stories, but they're usually either so romanticized and wishy-washy and feely-wheely and all this stuff that there's hardly any of the real truth of the experience or the story left by the time he's finished emotionalizing and packaging it into something that the general public will accept. If Ed Sheeran didn't have to sell the songs he was writing, I think he could write, I think he would, he probably has written just some incredibly deep stuff. One artist that I'll always appreciate for the truth and the honesty is Eminem, because Eminem, his whole brand is just based on the idea that he doesn't care what you think about him, he's just gonna say it anyway. And so sometimes he goes way too far, but at least he's sincere and honest. And I'm not saying that you should, you know, be a terrible person like he has been in the past in the pursuit of being sincere and true to yourself. If you're a terrible person and you're trying to be true to yourself, you know, maybe try to be a good person and then try to be true to yourself. Try to be true to a better version of yourself, but not to a fake version of yourself, please. And so what ends up happening with these song lyrics is that these teams of people, not even really the artist most of the time, these teams of people, these professional songwriters working behind the scenes, people like Justin Tranter, and in the past, Julia Michaels before she started doing her own music. I feel like they've got a list of like 5 or 6 topics that they filter through, and they just rewrite these stories of nothingness again and again each time, and they just give us this generic pile of cliches. Seriously, you guys know what cliches are. A lot of you are in middle school and high school. If you don't, look up the phrase cliche, look at examples of cliches, and then go listen to the next time you listen to a pop music, listen for those cliches, and just look for generic, vague, non-specific language that makes it so that any song could literally be about almost any person in any situation. The only kind of power that there is in a song like that is the power to make money off of people who think, wow, this artist really understands who I am, because they're not taking the time to listen or to understand that the artist is making this purposefully vague so that it can apply to everybody. It is all about the dollar, guys. It's completely about the dollar. And another thing, rap artists, you guys need to pull it together. You guys have some of the biggest responsibility, some of the biggest legacy to tell a story. And the ones that you in the pop sphere are putting out, the ones that Post Malone sings that he gets from other people, just the ones that people make up in the studios when they're just like freestyling and they make that into some verse for some pop single by Maroon 5 or who knows who. Have you guys noticed, it's the same freaking thing every single time. It's a glorification of self-harming and relationship-harming drugs. It's oftentimes filled with superiority and emotional abuse against women. They talk about the same 10 brands of cars all the time. Motorsport by Migos and Nicki Minaj, what a joke. And they talk about how they used to have nothing, but now they have something. Well, I tell you what, guys, you're not unique, you're not interesting, because you have the same dang story that everybody else has in your circles. You guys are all like copy-paste cookie cutters of each other because you have nothing new and nothing interesting to say. Oh, and Drake's got a beef with somebody now? You know what? My grandpa used to tell me that he didn't watch the NBA because he didn't have a lot of interest in watching millionaires play basketball. Oh my gosh, some millionaires have some emotional troubles with each other and they're gonna write a song about it and share their beef with the rest of the world? I care so little. Oh, was Taylor Swift and Katy Perry making up? Who actually knows? You don't have a clue. It's easy to get sucked into a world where it seems like that kind of stuff matters, or where it seems like these lyrics are super deep. And you know what, honestly, if they mean something to you, it's because you're doing 80% of the work. They give this 20% half effort where they put together this vague story with a bunch of vague pronouns and nouns and verbs that don't really mean anything, and then they just let you fill in the spaces with your own story so that you can speak to yourself through your own song. Guys, I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna ever argue that somebody should not find emotional peace in a vague pop song. If you can find emotional peace there, you better go grab it. But I'll tell you what, it is not that pop star or their writer doing it for you. You're doing 80% of the work. You're doing most of the work yourself because you're the one who's actually using it to tell your own story. They're not telling your story. They don't know you. They don't empathize with you. They're just trying to make a fast buck. But I'll tell you what, guys, if you want to find true peace, true truth, true emotion, true feeling, true power in your music, you have to actually work hard. And that means you need to go and find artists who are saying true and real things. And music is a huge part of this too. Don't get me wrong. Music, what you like to listen to, the sounds that speak to you, the emotions through the music that speak to you, that's hugely important. But I want to encourage you guys to have higher standards for your music and for your lyrics. And to do that, you're gonna have to have a little bit higher standards for yourself. You need to go out and find artists who have something to say and who are doing interesting things musically and not just ripping each other off in this Billboard Hot 100 mad dash to write the most generic thing. Find artists who have something real to say, support them, listen to them, and find music that challenges you. Pop music doesn't challenge you. Pop music says, hey Cliff, it's okay. No worries, just chill out, have fun. Having fun, feeling good is what matters. And feeling good is a great thing, don't get me wrong. But if you can find a songwriter or a band or music or lyrics that make you feel real emotions and don't just tell you to gloss over it or just paint over it, and helps you to become a better person. That I think that's the big thing with music for me, is I know an artist is good and I know that their music is on another level if I feel like I'm a better person for having listened to it. Being a better person could mean that I know myself better, I make better decisions, or I just feel more in tune with my own emotions, or I understand other people better. Good art can help you in a lot of different ways. But guys, look for good art, not cheap entertainment. you know, this was a huge rant, and like I said, I didn't know what I was gonna talk about before I even started filming the video. So welcome to a ringside seat to Cliff feeling kind of angry at 12:30 at night, while also trying to be a little bit quiet because April's sleeping in the next room and Galaxy is sleeping on the floor behind the camera. Tell me what you think, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole rant deal, and you know what your thoughts are on pop music. Remember that pop music is not evil, pop music is not terrible, but compared to true truth and beauty that's out there, it's pretty empty. And not all of it. There are some songs that are really good. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant, old man yells at cloud style, and I'll talk to you guys next time.